What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Salandia Hammond, a.k.a. Sueham, baby, also known as your thug motivator, and we are back with another electrifying episode of the Sueham Show. Now, you guys know I love to interview people with mesmerizing, riveting stories. I love to find out how they escape, right, the excuses and all of the tumultuous backgrounds that they may have grown up in to become the success they are. So today is no different. Today on the show we have the beautiful Latrea Wyche, who happens to be a great friend of mine that I met a couple of years ago, probably close to 3 years now, right? Huh, Latrea?
Yeah, about 3 years ago.
About 3 years ago. And when I met her, she just was a ball of fire. And if you're looking at Latrea, you can definitely see that Latrea is disabled. I hate even using that word because I don't view you as that. I really don't. I just view you as someone who's gone through life and just had minor setbacks just like everyone else. But the truth of the matter is, you are labeled as being disabled, but you do not allow that to stop you from accomplishing
No.
your dreams. So I'm going to allow you, Latrea, to give 2 minutes to tell everybody who you are and what you do. And then we're going to get into how you bounce back from such a tumultuous childhood to living the life of your dreams. Take it away.
Okay. Well, hello, everybody. As Sue said, my name is Latrea Wyche. I live in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I am originally from Washington, D.C. And it's funny that you say that you don't look at me as being disabled because growing up, my parents didn't either. Um, they would say, well, you have some challenges or you have some things that may make you different from everyone else. But the definition of disabled, I didn't fit. Well, to them, I didn't fit. So it was kind of difficult sometimes because I'm like, okay, I don't necessarily look like everybody else, but I have some setbacks, but I'm not classified as disabled. So it's kind of hard sometimes to kind of figure out, what side of the fence I'm supposed to be on. But that's here nor there at this point. I was born with a rare genetic syndrome called Pfeiffer syndrome. And basically, what Pfeiffer syndrome is where the bones in your body do not fuse properly. There are children that are born with no bridge on their nose. There are children that are born with something called a cleft lip, where it means you have a split in your lip and your lip goes up in your nose. There are children that are born with web fingers, where like your fingers are like together. So you have like one whole finger. You don't have individual fingers. So it comes in various types and various forms. I was born with the way my bones worked was I did not have any like protective stem around my skull. So when I was born, my skull was just basically hanging out on top of my brain.
Wow.
So therefore, there was nothing protecting my brain. It was just like my skull was just sitting here hanging out. And I had my first surgery when I was 2 months old. I've had surgery from 2 months old all the way up to, let me see, I'm 38, 35 years old. So in between that time frame, I've had anywhere from 35 to 45 operations.
Wow.
I've had metal plates put in my head. I've had bones taken from other parts of my body put into my head to fill in the spaces where there were no bones. I remember being a kid having to wear a protective helmet. I don't know if you guys have seen those kids that have those protective helmets or what have you. I had to wear one of those because after a while they couldn't find anything to put up there to protect my brain. So if I were to fall, it would have been a wrap because there was nothing up there to protect my brain.
Wow.
I remember for a whole year, I didn't go to recess in school and I didn't go to PE in school because they were so afraid that if I was to bump my head or, because you know how kids play,
Right.
kids can be
Absolutely.
rough sometimes. So if I were to bump my head or if I was to, playing like kids do and run into something or what have you, it would have been a wrap. So, that's basically, in terms of that part of my life. As you could probably guess, I was picked on a lot. I was teased a lot. I remember one one incident
You
in
know,
particular.
before we even get into your childhood, what I want to for you to tell them now is, even though going through all of that, today you are a successful life coach and author, right?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
So
I am.
go ahead, Latria.
Yes, so yes, I am. I am. After going through all of that and basically defeating the odds, I did a lot of things that I was told I was not going to do. I
Mm.
graduated from high school. I graduated from college twice. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, a master's degree in education, and then I went on to own my own business. And owning my own business was something that was so far out of reach for me in my mind. But you have to kind of reprogram your mind to think past what you can see. Because when I was a kid, I couldn't see those things. I couldn't see owning my own business. I couldn't see, you know, getting on stage speaking. I couldn't see writing books. Those were not the things that were in my environment as a kid. So when they're not in your environment, you can't see past what's in your environment. So I had to stretch my mind. I had to stretch past what I could see.
Now, I know that had to be difficult because growing up, I know that you went from foster home to foster home, but prior to going from foster home to foster home, what led to that was your mother abusing drugs, crack, if I remember correctly, and your
Yes, ma'am.
father being an alcoholic. Do I have the story right?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. My dad was, well, this is the running joke we have in the family. My dad was an alcoholic, but we don't call him an alcoholic because the alcoholics go to those AA meetings. My daddy didn't go to no AA meetings, okay? My daddy drank from the time he got up to the time he went to bed. He didn't
Wow.
go to no meetings. So I affectionately call him a drunk.
A
And
drunk.
actually, before he passed, that was a joke that he told me about himself. So I thought I'd just go ahead and continue it. But anyway, yes, my mother, my mother abused crack. She did. My mother started abusing crack when I was, I want to say 9. No, I was younger than that. I was about 7 or 8 years. No, I was about
Mm-hmm.
6 years old when she started. When I realized that she was abusing crack. I remember there were times when she would leave me in the house by myself
Mm-hmm.
at 5 and 6 years old to
Wow.
go get high. I can remember a funny story to tell you. So I remember coming home from school one day, and we had a VCR. Sue, I was so happy. I was like, you could. It was Christmas, okay? It was Christmas that day in that house. I was so overjoyed because I was the only one on my block that had a
A
VCR.
VCR, yes.
So I got all these movies I wanted to watch, but before I knew it, it was time for me to go to bed. So I said, okay. I said, tomorrow's Friday. When I come home from school, I'm going to make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a glass of chocolate milk. And I'm going to sit here. I'm going to binge watch all the movies I want to watch. The whole day in school. That's all I'm thinking about. All these movies I'm going to watch on my new VCR. So it's 3 o'clock. I get off the bus. I go skipping in the house because I'm going to watch movies on my VCR. So the way our house was set up, in order to get into the living room, you had to kind of turn the corner.
Right.
And when you turned the corner, you could see the TV.
Mm-hmm.
So I come in the house and I turn the corner. I see the TV. That's a big floor model TV. You can't miss that.
Right.
I see the TV, but I don't see no VCR.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I know there was a VCR there yesterday. So I said, you know what? I said, maybe I'm seeing things. So I go all the way back outside and I come in again. And I'm like, still, there's no VCR.
There's no VCR.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, okay, maybe I imagined the VCR.
So what
Maybe the
happened?
VCR.
What happened
Huh?
to it?
My mother sold the VCR.
Wow.
She sold it for drugs.
Wow.
And I remember coming at her, asking her what happened to the VCR.
Mm-hmm.
She said, gave me the same comment she always gives me. None of your business, go sit down.
Wow.
So, sold the VCR. Let's see. I don't know who sells silverware, but she sold the silverware.
Mm.
I went there looking for silverware. We didn't have any more. We had plastic silverware. We didn't have any like real silverware. She sold that. So she basically sold whatever wasn't bolted down that could be moved.
You
She
know,
sold it.
and it's funny because that's a great segue into my next question about the silverware. So anyhow, you and your sister went on to different foster homes, and I remember reading in
Hmm.
your bio, and this was really moving to me. It actually brought me to tears. in your bio where you were saying the families that you were staying with, they didn't want you to eat out of the regular silver plates
Mhm.
and utilize the regular silverware. They wanted you to
Mhm.
use plastic so that they could
Mhm.
discard it.
Mhm.
And in your bio, you said that made you feel some type of way. Can you explain to the listening audience, the viewing audience, what that did to you? What kind of message that sent home to you?
Well, that sent me the message that I wasn't worthy of anything tangible. All I was worthy of is something that could be discarded.
Mm.
And I tell people all the time, certain experiences will send you certain messages. Whether the message is positive, if the experience is positive. If the experience is negative, then the message is going to be negative. So in that particular situation, I received a negative message that I was not worthy of anything tangible. I mean, I was good at being tossed away because I couldn't eat on nothing that was tangible. I couldn't eat on nothing that could be washed and put back. Everything I ate on got thrown away. Everything I ate on got tossed in the trash. And it's funny because being a kid, I thought maybe 13. No, I thought 12. You don't connect the dots
Mm.
until you become older. You don't realize that stuff like that kind of sticks with you.
Mm.
And I just thought, okay, well, you know, she don't want to wash dishes. I mean,
Right.
in my kid mind, I'm like, oh well, she don't want to wash dishes. But then I saw her children eat off of regular plates and cups and bowls and stuff, and I remember another incident where they had a little baby, and they wouldn't let me touch the baby
Oh no.
because they were afraid that the baby might miraculously get what I have. So they wouldn't let me touch the baby. They wouldn't let me play with the baby because they was afraid that whatever I got is going to jump off of the baby,
Wow.
and the baby's going to become sick.
Now also, oh man, whew, that's just unbelievable that people actually even think like this. I
They
also
do.
read where they would hide you in the back of the room whenever
Yep.
company and stuff come over. And
Mhm.
and it's so sad because I remember growing up and I would remember going over to relatives' houses and stuff, and they would have either children that were mentally retarded or disabled, and that's exactly some of the treatment that they got. They would be hidden in the room, and it's
Mhm.
like they're people, they're God's creation. What's wrong with
Mhm.
you? But that leads
Mhm.
me to a very, very important question. Latria, I have told you often that you inspire me immensely. Here you are, a woman whose parents abused substances. You've gone from foster home to foster home. You've had between 35 to 43 surgeries, and yet you are still a success. You don't use your excuses as a way to just live in mediocre land. And so that brings me to my next question. How did you rise up out of the valley from all of these major setbacks when really in life you have an excuse, a really, really good excuse to just lay low and just ride this life out until it's time to go, go away. But instead, you,
Right.
you didn't lay low. Instead, you are an author, you are a speaker, you are a disabled representative for other people out there. I mean, you're on the front lines fighting. You have an online business. You're a life coach. You're doing so many things. You're a mother. You're a spouse. You're living a regular life. Whereas many of us, myself included, have not even endured 20% of the stuff that you've gone through. And yet, sometimes, in my past, I wanted to quit. But yet, you are here today, a very successful woman. Please tell us, how did you survive it? What was it that made you say, I am more than this? I am more than the paper plates that they discard. I am more than being hidden in a room. I am more than having parents who abuse drugs. I am more than all of these surgeries. I am more than this Pfeiffer disease. What was it, man? What was it?
Um, I would have to say it's been my faith in God
Mm.
because through I don't know where I would be without God. I couldn't even begin to tell you. Even as a kid, I've always had a very strong connection with God. I always was one of those ones that always wanted to do right by God, wanted Him to find me favorable.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember as I was going through the different things in foster care, I can remember always hearing God tell me, just hold on. It's
Wow.
going to get better. Just hold on. Just hold on. I can remember I was in one foster home where if you were bad, they punished you. And the way they punished you was they made you stand in the corner. And they made you stand in the corner from dusk till dawn.
Oh, wow.
And you would have to stand there in the corner. And in this particular foster home, I was not allowed to bathe in the bathtub. I had to bathe downstairs in the sink. And while I was going through all of this stuff, all I could remember hearing is God just telling me, just hold on. I got you. Just hold on. You're going to get through this. You're going to get through this like you've gotten through everything else. Hold on. I got you. And I am not the first to say it was easy by no stretch of the imagination. I've suffered from depression. I've suffered from low self-esteem. I've been suicidal. I mean, do it all. I can honestly say that God has been my rock.
Mm-hmm.
Without Him, I would not be the person that you are looking at today. Yes, I still have my moments now where I get my little rut and I'm like, okay, you know what, God, yeah, I don't want to do this no more. It's too hard. I don't want to do this no more. And every time I get like that, God will send somebody to me that I have impacted. Or God will send somebody to me that has seen me somewhere or heard me somewhere or watched one of my videos and be like, you really impacted me or you really motivated me or you really encouraged me. And that's what keeps me going.
Yes.
And the thing about this what I've learned, and I'm sure you can attest to this too,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how difficult it gets or how hard it gets, there are times when you want to give up, you can't.
Right.
You can't. It's like it's inside of you.
Right.
You can't. Like you get mad for a minute and like, you know what, man? I ain't doing this. I ain't doing this. But then after a while, you come back. You're like, okay, well, what else am I gonna do? You
Yep.
know what I'm saying?
I might quit for
So
24 hours, but then I'm back
yeah,
at it.
I'm back at it, right? Because it's inside of you.
Right.
It's like it's embedded inside of you. Like I can't quit, even if I wanted to. I can't.
I can't quit because it's something I'm born to do, and unless I
Right.
do it, I'm always going to be miserable.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm gonna live, so I'm not gonna be miserable. That's how I look at it. So I might as well
I
try
know
to get
that's
this
right.
thing up out of me.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Now I
Yes.
have another question for you. What advice are you still, even as an adult right now, are you still being ridiculed sometimes to this day?
Um. Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you why I say yes and no. Because what me and God had to have a powwow about that. Because the times when I thought I was being ridiculed,
Mm-hmm.
I really wasn't. See, this all goes back to your perception and the way
Mm.
that you look at your situation.
Mm.
Now, I would, because I felt like I looked different and I felt like I was not attractive and I felt like I was ugly. So what I would do is I would portray those feelings onto onto other people.
Right.
So I would have my own pity pat party everywhere I went. And so I got to a point in my life, I was like, you know what? Well, fine. If they don't want to be my friend, that's okay. I do it by myself. And then one day, God stopped me. God was like, you think this has something to do with your disability. This has nothing to do with your disability.
Mm.
This has to do with how you look at your disability.
Mm.
If you look at your disability a certain way, then that's how people are going to treat you. People are going to treat you the way that you act. So if you act like, oh, poor me, pity pat me, that's how people are going to treat you.
Man,
And
that is,
people people do not want to attend a pity pat party every time they come in contact with you.
right.
It's not always it's about Latrea. It's not. That's not okay. You're disabled. Okay, you don't look like everybody else. Okay, now let's move on with life. let's do what we need to do.
Right.
So to go back to your question, um, if they do, I don't pay attention to it.
Wow. Love it. You said something that was so profound to me. We project the way we feel upon the other people, and that's why they treat us the way they treat us. And you said something else. I don't look like everybody else. Well, guess what? I don't either. No one does.
Right.
Even identical twins, they're not identical. You know what I mean? So we all look differently, but it's how we feel about ourselves, and true healing
Right.
starts internally. So that was very deep, very profound. I hope you guys caught that. Now, I want to say to you, and I told you I never looked at you in that way, in any shape or form. I never looked at you as needing something extra to get over. I looked at you as like, come on, Latrea, let's get it. And I didn't treat you any differently. At least I didn't
Right.
think so.
Yeah, I remember. I don't want to cut you off, but I remember when we were in Mexico,
Uh huh.
and we were getting ready to get on the jet skis. And I was like, no, I don't think I want to do it. You about looked at, you gave me that mama look like if you don't get your tail over there on the jet ski. She said, because I don't want you to leave here not doing it. Like,
Right.
I've never known you to turn down something. I've never known you to say, no, you don't want to do it because you're scared.
Right.
And so, I mean, the look you gave me was like, if you don't get your tail over there on that jet ski, you don't have 30, 40 operations and you scared of a jet ski. Get over there on that jet ski.
Because in my mind, you're invincible. To me, anyone who can undergo things that you've gone through, you should not say no to anything. You're invincible.
Right,
To me.
right.
So, you're a superwoman. That's how I look at it.
Oh gosh, well, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. To all the glory and honor goes to God. Because, like I said, without Him, I would not be who you see sitting here. So I give Him all the glory and all the honor for that.
Yes. Like I tell you, you're inspiring so many people right now. And I tell you, every day you inspire me. And that is no bluff, no fluff. That's the truth. Now, on to these books. You've authored what, like 4 or 5 different books?
Well, number 8 is getting ready to
Oh
come
my
out.
God, I'm like way off. Number 8.
Number 8 is getting ready to come out. The end of, well, around the middle of the fall. Number 8 will be coming out.
Number 8. How can people get a copy of your? First of all, tell us a little bit about your books. Just the general themes in the books, and then how they can get copies of your books.
Okay. Okay. So what you can basically do is, if you would like copies of the book, just go to Amazon.com and type in my name, Latrea, Latrea Wyche, Wyche, and all my books should just pop up there. And basically, I did one self-help book. I don't like to call it a self-help book, but that's what everybody else is calling it, so we'll go with it. And then I did various workbooks that I use in my workshops for people with disabilities, about fear, about learning to set goals, about the emotional barriers that people with disabilities face.
Mm-hmm.
I just released a prayer book called Intimate Conversations with God.
I see you looking for. Don't worry about it. I got to pick. Oh, you got it. Go ahead. Go for it.
Okay.
Boom.
I just did it's a prayer book. It's not, well, yeah, it's a prayer book. It talks about prayer. It does a breakdown of, the different types of prayer and why we pray, and it has some of my intimate prayers in here.
Hold this still for a minute. There we go. Put it back in the middle, in front of your face. There you go. Boom. There you go, audience. All right.
Okay, and the crazy thing about this particular book is it was not supposed to have been a book. This was just a journal. This is actually just me journaling to God, about some things that I have been going through. Mm-hmm. And God was like, okay, we're going to turn that into a book. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that, because I got some pretty personal things in there. And he was like, well, look at it like this. If you're going through it, then that means somebody else is going through it too. And your prayer will help somebody else that's going through it too.
So you said something that perked up my ears there, because a lot of times people do journals and it's for them to write their personal things, but instead you flip the script. This is a copy of your journal sharing some of your most intimate moments in hopes that it'll help other people.
Right.
Oh, that's sweet. I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
So that's what that's about. And then the biggest book that I have ever possibly written in my life, that I've been not scared, but I've been a little hesitant in writing, is my autobiography. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be coming out, like I said, towards the middle of the fall. It's called Woman of Impact.
Woman of impact. I like
Yes,
that.
that's what God told me that I was gonna be. He told me that I was gonna be a woman of impact.
You already are. Not gonna be. You already
Okay,
are.
well, I am a woman of impact,
Yeah.
and that it documents, my childhood, some of the things we talked about. It documents my journey through foster care. It documents my journey through college. So it just kind of chronologically goes through my life. And I was a little hesitant about doing it because I I name names, okay,
Woo.
and I called. I don't want nobody to feel no kind of way, but I put this on my Facebook page the other day. I was like, the depiction of your the depiction of your character is based solely on the part that you played.
Hmm.
So if you don't like how your character is being displayed, then you should have played a better part.
Mm. Ooh, that's deep. And the great thing about it is if you are alive, you can change roles. You can make your character better.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow, I love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So Latrea, it looks like I'm running close to almost 30 minutes of having you. I have two more
Oh,
questions and I'm going to let you go. I wrote
okay.
down some questions here. I got one question I really want to ask you though. What would you tell a disabled person that may be thinking of starting their own business or writing a book?
Um, I would tell them to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell them to go for it. As a matter of fact, I'm in the process of starting a magazine now for disabled small business owners that are disabled, but they want to start their own business and they want to branch out on their own and so on and so forth. So I would tell them to go ahead and do it. I would tell them that yes, is this an easy road? Nope. Is this always going to be rewarding? Nope. Is it always going to be fun and nope? Is it a lot of hard work? Yes. But I'm just being honest, and you know I'm just being
But
honest.
here's the thing. That's just not for anybody with a disability. That's anybody,
Right, that's
period.
anybody, period. Right, right. Oh yeah, anybody, period.
But it just may be a little
But
bit more challenging for someone with a
right,
disability.
for them.
Right.
And a lot of times I think that people with disabilities, myself included, sometimes we allow fear to talk us out of our dreams.
Right.
We allow fear to talk us out of the things that we know we're supposed to be doing. We allow fear, and I call fear the silent killer, because
Yes.
when fear creeps in, it'll get a hold of you. You won't move. You
Shake
just
it.
yeah, you won't
Make you shake
move.
your
You
shimmy.
stay. Yes. So I encourage any person that's disabled and wanting to write a book and wanting to start a business to go out there and do it.
Go out there and
To
do
go
it.
out there and do it. And like Steve Harvey said, your parachute may not open the first time. It may not. Because, honey, I done been through some things with this business. So it may not open the first time. But that doesn't mean you don't try again.
That's right.
Just keep trying until it opens.
Well, listen, we have come to the end of our interview, but what I would like for you to do in this next minute is just leave some closing words, something to encourage somebody, or something you want the audience to remember you by. This is a Latrea moment. Take it away.
Okay. I want you to always know that there's joy on the other side of your pain. There's joy on the other side of whatever you're going through. Sometimes you gotta go through it to get to it. Even and even if you're watching this and you're in the midst of a storm, ask God to get you through the storm. Don't ask God to remove the storm. Ask God to get you through the storm,
Mm.
because the storm is where you build your strength. The storm is where you build your character. Going through stuff is where you learn to trust God and you learn to gain faith. And I can say that after all the stuff that I've been through, you can't tell me
Mm.
nothing about my faith. Okay,
Come
my
on,
faith
somebody.
is solid. Okay, and I believe that sometimes you got to go through a storm to get to a rainbow. So you want to reach
Ooh.
that rainbow, you got
Ooh.
to go through that storm.
Ooh. Ooh, look at you hitting me. You just uppercutting me and sucker punching me and just boom, boom, and all these good nuggets right there. That was a Latrea White moment, everybody. Tell everybody real quick, how they can get a hold of you, how they can get your books.
um,
You're also a speaker, how they can book you to speak as well.
okay, well, you can book me to speak by sending me an email to Coach Latrea, Latrea, Wyche, Wyche, at gmail.com. Or you could go to my website, www.coachlatrea.com. I'm on most social media. I'm on all social media platforms. On Facebook, I am spiritual life coach, motivational speaker, Latrea Wyche. That's my business page. And then, of course, I have my personal page, Latrea Wyche. On LinkedIn, I am not LinkedIn. I'm sorry, Instagram. On Instagram, I am Coach Latrea 79. On Twitter, I am Coach Latrea. I think those are probably the only ones I use.
All right. Well, Latrea, I want to thank you for coming on the show. As always, it's always a blast to talk to you. I actually got to dig deeper into your background, and so now I even have an even bigger newfound respect for you, and you just make me want to go harder and harder, even more so. I thank you for being who you are. I thank you for championing the cause for persons with disabilities and for people who may just be complacent right now. I think that you are a
Right,
poster board to say, listen, if I can do it, that means that you can do it. No excuses.
right.
So I thank you so much. I love you. I look forward to working more so with you in the future. Maybe even on some
Yes,
speaking
yes, yes.
engagements, man. We got to get some seminars going where we bring you in.
Okay,
Uh,
okay. I am so looking forward to that because I always love working with you.
and I love working with you. So to everybody who's watching this, I implore you to please share this video, make this video go viral. And it's for so many reasons, because I want people to really get out of the pity party, um, phase, and just stop making excuses. If Latria can do it, if I can do it, you can do it. So just
Amen.
just do it. Like Nike said, just freaking
Just,
do it.
just, just
Just
do
do
it.
it. So in closing, y'all, I have to encourage you to live, love, learn, and laugh. Don't quit. Follow your dreams to success. We'll see you guys on another episode of the Sueham Show. Peace and love. Peace and love. Peace.